Thank you very much for this invitation, and I must say that I am very happy because of this conference, because together with my colleagues, Crusade historians, we can speak about Crusader Jerusalem together, and we can speak together with historians who researched Central European issues, and I think this is crucial to speak about Central Europe in wider context of Latin Europe. I think this is unnecessary. I think this is necessary to put Central Europe in wider context in order to understand properly our culture and our societies in Central Europe. Yes, my topic today is Golden Gate in Jerusalem, as you can see here. Here is my recent publications about publications from 2021 were about Crusader Jerusalem, and my recent publication is about Central Europe, as you can see. So this is my perspective also to speak about Central European issues in context of crusading movement and crusades. All right. Yes, maybe I think we can see here. All right. Yes, this is my plan today to speak about, firstly, imaginations about Golden Gate in Jerusalem at the beginning of Crusader period. Then I will speak about place of Golden Gate in liturgy of Latin Europe and liturgy of Crusader states. And as a third part, I will speak about succession in 1118, when Baldwin I died and his successor Baldwin II was enthroned in 1118, and Golden Gate was very important in this event when one ruler died without male hire, and the second and next ruler Baldwin II was enthroned in frame of Easter celebrations, and I will speak about this topic in order to understand symbolic meanings and associations of Golden Gate. I want only point out one recent publication which deals with a topic of Golden Gate in Jerusalem. In this publication, Leslie Milner I can say he examined Golden Gate in Jerusalem and he put a Golden Gate in wider European context. We can find in this publication that Golden Gate was copied widely in Europe, but also in Jerusalem, because here we can see a south facade to so main entrance to Holy Sepulchre Church, Crusader Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and according to this publication, main entrance to Holy Sepulchre, so to Crusader Church of the Holy Sepulchre was built in order to imitate Golden Gate. So Golden Gate was at the center of crusading, of spirituality and symbolic world of crusaders in the Holy Land. Here we can see Temple Mount, of course, and Crusaders, after entering the Holy City, discovered that the two most important points in Jerusalem are, of course, Temple Mount and Tower of David, though the Church of the Holy Sepulchre occupied the prominent place in their piety and imagination. However, from the military point of view, there was no possibility to control the city without these two key sites. I mean, Temple Mount and Tower of David. The siege of Jerusalem, most realistic and accurate account provided by Albert of Aachen, focuses to large extent on the Temple Mount. In narrating those events, after taking Jerusalem's fortifications and opening gates, Aachen Chronicle even breaks a story to provide a wide commentary on the Temple Mount history, to make this site more familiar for Western audience. It is crucial to consider what exactly Crusaders encountered on the Temple Mount and what historical imaginations were associated with this site and at an early stage. They discovered two large buildings located at an elevated spot in a rectangular plan which towered over the Holy City, the Dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque on the southern end on the mount. The Dome of the Rock is a shrine built by the order of the Umayyad Caliph Abd al-Malik at the end of 7th century. Dennis Pringle has pointed out that the Dome of the Rock was designed to imitate a dome of Anastasis Rotunda, Rotunda of Holy Sepulchre, as size of both cupolas are nearly the same. Andreas Kaplony added that extraordinarily high-end gold dome by dominating Jerusalem landscape seemed to be a sign of Muslim superiority and triumph over Christianity. Yes. Of course, it's barely an exaggeration that the Temple Mount played a key role in constructing visions of the past and collective identity in the Latin East. In fact, as early 12th century evidence indicate, in regard to the Temple Mount, one could observe a process of history making in Latin Jerusalem. Above mentioned Albert of Aachen provides an explanation on a past of this site, having mentioned Solomon as a founder of the temple, which was destroyed by Nebuchadnezzar and by King Antiochus. And according to Albert, after second destruction by Titus and Vespasian, was rebuilt by local Christians. Pilgrim Sevulf, in his pilgrimage account, dated to 1102 or 1103, reveals an early stage of development of imaginations about the Temple Mount. Sevulf narrates a story of this site locating here an ancient Bethel, the house of God, as well as Jacob's vision of a ladder to heaven. Pilgrim Sevulf dwells on origins of the temple by mentioning King Solomon as a founder who constructed the temple around a rock where Holy of Holies was placed and Ark of Covenant deposited. Then, turning to New Testament, Pilgrim Sevulf mentions Zachariah the priest, circumcision of Jesus, and his presentation on the day of purification of the Virgin Mary, along with other New Testamental scenes. 12 years old Jesus teaching in the temple, a purification of temple by Jesus saying, Domus mea, domus orationis vocabitur. Yes, and here we have legend of Saint Joachim meeting with Saint Anne at the Golden Gate. Yes, and Sevulf, interestingly, Sevulf also pointed out an importance of a Golden Gate, eastern entrance to the Temple Mount, where Joachim and Anne, parents of the Virgin Mary, met and where Jesus entered on a donkey before the Passion on Palm Sunday. He associates with the Golden Gate a figure of the Emperor Heraclius. And at this point, Sevulf refers to liturgical reading about Heraclius' entrance from the festivity of the exaltation of the Holy Cross. Then Sevulf, in a short passage, locates in the Templum Salomonis cradle and bathtub of Jesus and the Virgin Mary's bed. Sylvia Shine has pointed out that Sevulf, as a layman, would most probably learn about above-mentioned traditions when visiting personally Jerusalem. This, together with a passage on the temple origins from Albert of Aachen, 6th book, shows how ancient Old and New Testamental, as well as early medieval histories and figures, was used in shaping visions of the past in the Latinist. Dennis Pringle detailed analysis of minor early Jerusalem accounts. We can turn to this. Dennis Pringle shows that they are to large extent in line with Pilgrim Seville's pilgrimage account. It seems to be an early stage of developing vision of the past, which here will serve as a starting point. Albert of Aachen advanced this argument a step further by making Godfrey's first entrance to the Holy City similar to Heraclius' triumphal adventus after the recovery of the cross, as narrated in the most popular version of the Latin text recited for the feast of the Exaltation, Reversio Sancte Crucis. According to this text, according to Reversio Sancte Crucis, Heraclius was instructed by an angel to imitate the humility of Christ, and then the emperor put aside the signs of imperial power and followed Christ's footsteps by entering Jerusalem through the Golden Gate. In Albert of Aachen account, Godfrey entered Jerusalem in accordance with Heraclius' pattern. And this is important for royal authority that was adopted by Latin. Concept of royal authority was adopted by Latin monarchs in the Latin East. In addition to this, in 1112, a royal adventus processed through the Golden Gate on Palm Sunday. As the pilgrim Sevulf attests, this ceremony clearly evoked not only biblical associations, but also the story of Heraclius' triumph as recited during the liturgy of the exaltation of the Holy Cross. In that way, the king imitated firstly Jesus Christ, of course, and secondly the Emperor Heraclius, returning from the victorious struggle for the cross. There are parallels with the Heraclius imitating Adventus and Duke Godfrey's humble entry to Jerusalem, which can be found in Albert of Aachen Chronicle. All right, and speaking about 1118, King Baldwin died during a military expedition to Egypt, and he died without a male heir, which caused a crisis, dynastic crisis in Latin Jerusalem. Yes, and what is important, Jerusalemite army carrying a body of the dead king returned to the Holy City on the very day of Palm Sunday, when the most important Christian festivities starts by a celebration of unique rituals. On that day, the Patriarch, after morning prayers offered in the Holy Sepulchre, with the relic of the true cross carried by a treasurer and together with the congregations from Mount Zion, Mount of Olives, and St. Mary in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, walked to Bethany, where they performed prayers, and then they reversed to Jerusalem, following into Jesus Christ's footsteps. In the same time, whole community of Jerusalem with the canons of the sepulchre congregated at the Temple Mount, where palms and olive branches were blessed by a bishop or prior of the sepulchre. Subsequently, they marched in a solemn procession carrying palms and olive branches to the Valley of Jehoshaphat, so to this valley between Mount of Olives and Golden Gate, which we can see here. In this valley, a meeting of the two processions took place, which was a key point of entire celebration. At that moment, the two marching groups merged and a solemn adoration of the cross started. The relic carried by the Patriarch was venerated through a triple genuflection and prostration performed by the whole gathering, and simultaneously an antiphon Ave Rex Noster was sung 4 times, the last time with the genuflection towards the Holy Sepulchre and the temple. All right. And what is most important here? In the narrative accounts, the meeting of the two processions in the Valley of Jehoshaphat is associated with the arrival of the Jerusalemite forces carrying the dead body of the king. The Baldwin I last return on Palm Sunday to Jerusalem was remembered as taking place in this very moment when entire gathering adorates the cross in the Valley of Jehoshaphat before the Golden Gate. All right. Yes, and when the patriarch sermon came to an end, the procession continued proceeding to the Golden Gate, through which, as Albert of Aachen stresses, Lord Jesus had entered when coming to his passion. At this gate, a hymn Gloria Laus et honor tibi sit Rex Christe Redemptor was solemnly sung. This widely known Carolingian hymn served as a frame in which the Baldwin I royal authority was manifested. The Latin king of Jerusalem appears in this perspective as an imitator of Christ entering through this very gate to Holy City. In the same time, taking into consideration next words from this text, Israel as tu rex, Davidis et inclita proles, he plays a role of a successor of the kings of ancient Israel. So the king of the new Israel, which was important ideological dimension of the political theology in Crusader Kingdom of Jerusalem. Yes, moreover, Baldwin I was seen as following into Emperor Heraclius' footsteps, who had entered through Golden Gate carrying the relic of the true cross. All right, and at the conclusion, what is striking, William of Tyre account of this event associates Baldwin II, so the next ruler of Jerusalem, with this important ritual of entering through the Golden Gate, because according to William of Tyre, Baldwin II entered the Holy City on this very moment together with Jerusalemite forces and together with the dead king's body. So for conclusions, I must say that we can see here that from the very beginning, rulers of the Crusader Jerusalem were associated with the symbolic meanings of the Golden Gate. The Golden Gate and the legend of Heraclius occupied an important place in Latin Europe, of course, because of liturgical rituals and text. And this has important impact on events that occurred in 1118, where and these events, in my opinion, were of formative character for generally royal ideology in Latin Jerusalem, because we must think about Baldwin II, because Baldwin II was a first ruler who starts new dynasty in Jerusalem. Every next ruler was a higher of Baldwin II, not Baldwin I, because Baldwin I died without male hire. And I can make this perspective a bit wider, because I can add at the conclusion that royal coronation in 1131 of Fulk and Queen Melisande took place on the day of exaltation of the Holy Cross, 14 September. So we can imagine that this coronation of Fulk and Melisande also occurred in really close association to Golden Gate, because on this very day, exaltation of the Holy Cross, liturgy was celebrated also by entering through the Golden Gate to a Temple Mount. So here we can see that Golden Gate was of crucial importance to royal ideology, and in my opinion, this has strong impact on generally Latin Europe and Central Europe. Thank you very much.